In September 2017, Amazon made a dramatic announcement. The e-commerce giant was searching for a location to build its second headquarters, a project that promised 50,000 high-paying jobs and $5 billion in investment. What followed was an unprecedented corporate courtship with 238 cities across North America submitting proposals, many offering billions in tax incentives. But when the dust settled in November 2018, Amazon made an unexpected decision. Rather than choosing a single location, it would split its headquarters between two cities, Long Island City in Queens, New York, and Crystal City in Arlington, Virginia. 3 months later, Amazon abruptly canceled its New York plans after facing fierce local opposition. This left Arlington, Virginia, just across the Potomac River from Washington, D.C., as the sole winner of what had become the most high-profile corporate location search in history. But why Arlington? Why not Boston, Chicago, Atlanta, or any of the other finalists? Today, we're going beyond the official statements to explore the real strategic calculus that led Amazon to Northern Virginia and what it tells us about the future of corporate America. When Amazon's Vice President of Public Policy, Brian Waitzman, was asked about the company's decision-making process, his answer was unequivocal. It turns out that tech talent was the biggest driving factor for us. Both tech talent on day one, but also tech talent in the future. Northern Virginia sits at the heart of one of America's largest tech corridors. The region already hosted major operations for tech giants like Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. The area also boasts one of the nation's highest concentrations of tech workers, with over 15% of the workforce in tech-related fields, roughly 3 times the national average. But Amazon wasn't just looking at the current talent pool, they were thinking decades ahead. Virginia's university system produces thousands of computer science and engineering graduates annually. Additionally, Virginia Tech agreed to build a $1 billion innovation campus near the Amazon site, specifically designed to increase the pipeline of tech graduates. Holly Sullivan, the Amazon executive who led the search, emphasized this point, stating that Amazon needed a location that had the day one talent, but also a location that has the resources and the sort of education ecosystem to build upon that tech talent pipeline. While Amazon publicly downplayed political considerations, the company's choice placed it just 3 miles from the Pentagon and less than 5 miles from Capitol Hill, a strategic positioning that cannot be overlooked. At the time of the HQ2 decision, Amazon was aggressively pursuing government contracts, particularly through its cloud computing division, Amazon Web Services. The company was in the midst of competing for the Pentagon's $10 billion JEDI cloud computing contract. Amazon had also been dramatically increasing its lobbying presence in Washington. By 2018, it was spending over $14 million annually on federal lobbying, more than any other tech company. The company had hired Jay Carney, President Obama's former press secretary, to lead its global corporate affairs. As regulatory scrutiny of big tech was increasing, Amazon's decision to place 25,000 employees, including many senior executives, within walking distance of the nation's most important regulatory agencies was hardly coincidental. While Amazon officials have denied that CEO Jeff Bezos' personal connections to Washington played any role in the decision, the circumstances suggest otherwise. In 2013, Bezos purchased the Washington Post for $250 million. By 2016, he had bought a $23 million mansion in Washington's Kalorama neighborhood, just 2 miles from the White House, and invested millions in renovations. He was increasingly spending time in the Capitol, attending high-profile events and building relationships with political and business elites. While Brian Waitzman insisted that Bezos' personal preference did not play a role in the decision, it's hard to ignore that HQ2's location would make Bezos' dual roles as Amazon CEO and Washington Post owner significantly more manageable. One of Arlington's greatest advantages was its transportation infrastructure. Crystal City sits adjacent to Reagan National Airport, is served by 2 metro lines, and offers easy access to 3 major highways. This accessibility was crucial for a company planning to regularly bring in executives from its Seattle headquarters and other global offices. A corporate campus, a 5-minute drive from a major airport, represented a logistical dream. The Washington metro area also offers one of the nation's most comprehensive public transportation systems, something that Amazon highlighted in its selection criteria. This was particularly important for attracting younger tech workers who increasingly prefer not to own cars. Crystal City represented a unique real estate opportunity that few other locations could match. Once a thriving office district filled with defense contractors, it faced significant vacancy rates after the Pentagon relocated many operations following the 2005 Base Realignment and Closure Act. By 2018, one company, JBG Smith, owned the majority of commercial real estate in the area. This meant Amazon could negotiate with a single developer rather than multiple property owners, dramatically simplifying the process. Matthew Kelly, CEO of JBG Smith, recognized the opportunity immediately when Amazon announced its search. His company owned 6.2 million square feet of office space in the area with a vacancy rate around 20%. Amazon represented a perfect partner to revitalize these properties. The area also offered substantial land for future expansion, something many urban competitors couldn't match. The ability to build a true campus rather than scattered offices across the city held significant appeal. While Virginia offered substantial incentives, up to $750 million in state subsidies and another $23 million from Arlington County, this package was actually modest compared to many competitors. New York had offered more than twice as much, over $3 billion, before Amazon withdrew. Maryland had proposed an $8.5 billion incentive package for its Montgomery County site. New Jersey had topped them all with an astonishing $7 billion offer for Newark. Virginia's package was structured differently than many others. Rather than front-loading benefits, Virginia tied its incentives directly to job creation. The state would provide $22,000 per new job only after those positions were filled, with an average salary of at least $150,000. Stephen Moret, who led Virginia's economic development efforts, took a strategic approach. Rather than trying to outbid competitors on tax breaks, Virginia emphasized its long-term advantages: talent pipeline, infrastructure, and quality of life. This approach aligned with research from Berkeley economist Enrico Moretti, who advised Virginia during the process. Moretti's work suggested that, for knowledge-intensive industries, access to talent matters far more than tax incentives. The political reception in Northern Virginia stood in stark contrast to New York City. While progressive politicians and community activists in Queens organized fierce opposition to Amazon's plans, Arlington officials and residents generally welcomed the company. This isn't to say there was no opposition in Arlington. Community groups raised concerns about housing affordability, displacement, and corporate subsidies. But the resistance never reached the intensity seen in New York. Virginia's political leadership from both parties strongly supported the Amazon bid. Then Governor Ralph Northam called it a win-win for all of Virginia, and the state legislature approved the incentive package with overwhelming bipartisan support. Virginia has consistently ranked among America's most business-friendly states, with a regulatory environment that appeals to major corporations. Amazon knew it would face fewer political obstacles there than in many competing locations. Looking at the bigger picture, Arlington represented a perfect strategic fit for Amazon's national expansion. The company already had its main headquarters in Seattle on the West Coast and major operations in tech hubs like Boston, New York, and the Bay Area. An East Coast headquarters in the Washington metro area helped balance Amazon's national footprint, while placing key decision-makers in proximity to both financial markets and political power. As Amazon increasingly sought government contracts and faced regulatory scrutiny, having thousands of employees, including executives and government relations specialists, near Washington provided obvious advantages. The Washington area also offered amenities important to the professional workforce Amazon sought to attract: top-ranked schools, cultural institutions, diverse communities, and outdoor recreation opportunities. In June 2023, Amazon officially opened the first phase of its Arlington headquarters, with capacity for about 14,000 employees. While the company has delayed construction on its second phase, including the distinct Helix Tower, it continues to hire and expand in the region. The full impact of Amazon's arrival remains to be seen. Promised benefits like economic revitalization and job creation are materializing, but so are challenges like housing affordability pressures and concerns about overdependence on a single corporate giant. What's clear is that Amazon's choice wasn't just about tax breaks or a single factor. It represented a sophisticated calculus weighing talent, location, infrastructure, political climate, and strategic positioning. Arlington offered the rare combination of assets that aligned perfectly with Amazon's long-term vision, a vision that extends far beyond selling products online to reshaping how America's government, economy, and society function in the digital age.